Hikaru led the 5-minute by 1 game. Wesley So won the first 2 games of the 3-minute segment, and then Hikaru leveled the score. So here we are back to a theoretical line that's critical because Hikaru blundered in the first game of the 3-1 segment in this exact position right here, and now he improves and plays bishop takes e4. Let's bring up the analysis board just to show everybody. Again, in the first 3-1 game here, Hikaru blundered queen takes d1, which now allows the trap of the bishop. The key here in the main game you're seeing in front of you is that when the queens are traded, black's bishop does not get trapped. So a blunder Hikaru wishes he could have back.
Absolutely, and this is a very topical line that many of the top players have tried out. The point is that black's pawn structure is worse. You have 3 pawn islands, including this isolated pawn on d6, and white has given up a pawn for the time being, but the claim is the knight on c4 does not have a solid hold of that square, and if I can kick your knight out from c4, I'm going to then take down your d6 pawn. So right now, Wesley still in his element. You can see how little time he spent, but Hikaru feeling confident about his position as well.
We saw this line several times in the match, specifically between Jan Nepomucene and Levon Aronian, right? Those two guys, I think, featured it more than even anyone else we've seen in the SCC this year. At least as far as memory serves me. Am I correct on that? You were with me on that.
I believe so, and I'm thinking about this was playing the U.S. Championships that were held online just a couple months ago, so it's just been played now many, many times. And Danny, what do you make of this, where Wesley is 20 seconds ahead? We know that he's given up a pawn, but he's putting a lot of pressure on that d6 square. Do you think it's a good choice from Wesley's perspective?
You're talking match strategy, kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I don't know. I mean, Hikaru clearly, other than the fact that he blundered away the first game in the 3-1, he's clearly willing to go for this line, right? So I think we'll find out. If Wesley really believes it offers him a 2-result kind of position and he can push, then I would keep going for it, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, as you said, even if you don't win the d6 pawn right away, the endgame gives white these winning chances because this 3-on-2 can quickly become a real disaster for black, especially with the king ready on the queen side. So that's kind of what white's saying about this position, is as soon as we get to the endgame, I hold all the winning chances.
And something about white's last move, which looked completely reasonable to me, is not liked, and that's probably a g5. And look at Wesley put his head in his hands after g5. That's what he missed.
He forgot something there. Bishop to c1 has to be played, which is not where you want the bishop, everyone. You want the bishop spying this weak d6 pawn. So something has gone wrong here for So. Takes a sip. Whatever that refreshing beverage is, I could use some.
And, I mean, Danny, this was a big moment. He clearly was displeased, and bishop e3 came on. Do not take that bishop. Knight takes on e3 will be a fork. So right now, Wesley really needs to figure it out.
I swear I've seen this position before.
I believe you.
I know, but in the SCC. I swear I've seen the blunder with g5, bishop c1. I wonder if there's any crazy stat people watching who can prove me right. I want to feel it was the Jan Nepomucene match against Levon Aronian. It might have been an MBL Nihal Sarin game. But I swear I've talked about this exact same spot right here with the potential fork and black wanting to get rid of this bishop to try to bring the rooks in.
Where's Peter Dockers when you need him?
I don't know. Probably writing some news report.
Oh, man. Well, the f5 square is, whoa, a5. Talk about an unexpected move here by Hikaru, because I didn't think the action would take place on this part of the board, but he plays a5 to give himself more control of squares and plays rook e5, just calmly offering a trade of rooks to win the a5 pawn back with check.
Yeah, the point is he'll take with the pawn and then gather with check. Yeah. And if king b4, what's going on here? Is the king a strength or a weakness? Here goes Batman, right? He's all about the queen side. This could backfire if you're not careful.
Oh, Hikaru doesn't look happy. You saw that? He looked off to the side, and now he's really taking a deep look in this position because king b6 is coming. The h6 pawn's under attack. Knight d6 can be played. This is...
Does he have to transition to a rook ending with knight d4 check? The pawn is pinned. Something like knight d4 takes, pawn takes. Might be Hikaru's best option.
But the king is so far advanced for white. He just plays c4.
This is fascinating, Robert, because this is a position where people watching are saying, "Oh, but the engine likes black." But there's probably like one move where black has it, and like, and did he find it? I don't know. But like every other move, it feels like white is just about to convert on this endgame.
And the king is on b6. What more could you ask for? You in earlier in the game, king out in the open, bad thing. In the end game, use the king as an attacking aggressive piece, giving up the b7 pawn.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying. Is I don't care if a computer knows how to hold this position as black. From a practical point of view, that's why we teach activate your king in the endgame. And we foreshadowed it earlier. White has the 3-on-2. This is the recipe for white to win in this line, everyone, is this type of endgame where the king gets overpowering and white queens first.
That's the hope for Wesley and Hikaru trying to fend off these pawns. So king b6 played, rook takes g2, and he's just going to push the c pawn now. He's giving up his entire king side. He said, my 2 pawns are better than your 4 pawns.
Oh, man. Wild stuff.
Okay, takes, brings knight back.
Here comes f5 and e4. Black is trying to return the favor, say, let's have a race. We'll see who's faster. I think white's going to win that race.
Yeah, white's c pawn has a rook sitting on c1, making sure that it's protected all the way up the board.
What is going on here?
This is one of the crazier positions we've seen. Hikaru now done under 20 seconds with a difficult choice because that c pawn is just marching up the board.
Yeah, and with the computer saying it's close to equal, everyone, you might as well call it unclear because this is a blunder away from either side losing. And with no time on the clock, we're probably going to have a decisive result. Whoa.
Okay, so knight takes e3. He wants to get the h2 pawn, so he realizes he'll have to give up his knight for the c pawn. Black needs to take both pawns. Wait, but king d6 now? Or knight d5, it's even better.
Yeah, that was not the right approach there. Hikaru shakes his head. White's going to win the knight now, and is black even going to win? No, black wanted to get both these pawns in this endgame, everyone. That would be a draw. Now white maintains great winning chances with the extra peshka.
Very true. And king e4 saying, I'm just going to bring my king back towards my pawn. But if black can ensure that pawn can't move and can try to trade it off, there's still very good chances for Hikaru to hold this game.
And only 5 seconds for 6 seconds for Hikaru. This should be a technical win for white, but...
Danny, I did not like the move f4 by black.
Yeah, it seemed like he had where he needed to be.
No, he's making a draw, though.
Did Hikaru manage? Oh, my God, he managed to save it.
He did.
Where did Wesley allow that? I guess he blundered allowing g4, where the pieces get... You just pre-move king g6. Oh, my God, classic Hikaru, pre-moving his way to a victory.